Hi everyone, welcome back to Andy's World. We are
Tennis
and Alicia, and this is a series where we share our story with you. Now at this point of our story, you guys know that we're happy and engaged, and today we wanted to share with you different milestones that we shared.
Before we do that though, we've got a question for you. How would you feel going through some of the most significant milestones in your life without some of the most important people in your life? We all went through COVID and had to go through different moments where we didn't have everyone we wanted to share certain events with. In our case, we had the extra complication of not being able to call the most important people in her life and share those moments with them. So some of the stories we're gonna go through is just about us having fun as a couple. Some of them will also be about having to deal with the realities of not having the most important people in our life present when we needed them the most because of the decisions we had made with life. And we're also gonna start coming up with new ways to engage with you, so don't forget to follow her on TikTok and Instagram.
Well, I can for sure answer the question for you. It wasn't easy for sure, especially for person me. I love celebrations. I love including everyone, my friends, my family, in any milestones, any big decisions, anything that's happening in my life. I want to include everybody. So it was a constant battle having to enjoy that moment with my husband and his family and our friends who are with us, and not having some of the other important people in my life. So it was a constant battle of I'm happy in this moment, but I'm also sad because I'm missing my family or my loved ones. And there's no other way to deal with it. You just have to deal with the way it is at that moment.
So during the last episode, I talked a little bit about how happy I felt being able to share Thanksgiving with Alicia's family. But as great as that was, we still wish we could have done more with everyone in the family, because not everyone was present during that. We had your grandma and your mama
Yes.
visiting us at that point as well. We went out to dinner with them, bonded. Was your grandma there? I don't think she was.
She was here too, but she wasn't at the dinner, but she was here too. I don't think you met her.
Okay, yeah. We had to spend Christmas with my family for the most part.
Yeah.
Every event that we had to go through during these times, my family was involved, but not everyone in her family was involved. And it was also hard for you because there were things you wanted to do with your siblings that you couldn't do.
Yeah, what's the right word? I was very scared about that particular thing, my siblings, because my sister was 8 or 9, my brother was 10 or 11, and it's their growing years, right? So I felt if I'm not going to be a part of their life in the years they're growing, then they're probably going to forget about me or they're probably not going to be as close as I would have liked to be, or have a relationship as siblings, that bond. Although we already have this big age gap. My sister's 16 years younger than me, my brother's 14 years younger, but we've always had this close relationship because we lived together. But now that I had moved out and there was this drift in the family, I was very scared. I remember I used to cry so much just about this one reason to you, that what if my siblings forget about me, or what if they don't even think of me as their sister.
I remember birthdays were also hard on you because you share the same birthday with your sister.
Yeah.
So during birthdays, you would want to do stuff with your sister, but you couldn't. And at the same time, because of she treats birthdays, it's the biggest thing in the world.
It is.
So she wants to go all out, but given there were people that she would want to spend it with that she couldn't spend it with, it was hard for her to reconcile that on her birthday. So it hit her a lot on her birthdays to be able to cope with that. We also moved in together after Christmas, and usually when you're moving in, that's something you want to be able to involve family, but you couldn't really do that bit. Right after, you had to involuntarily take your grandma back to Nepal for about a week, and whilst you were there were loopholes you wanted to close as well.
That was definitely hard. So grandparents are such that even though they don't agree with you, the kind of relationship that you share with your grandkids, you kind of put that aside and at least have some sort of relationship. At least that's how my relationship with my grandmother is. And even when I was little, I used to live with her for some time, and we've always had a very close relationship. So although she didn't maybe 100% agree with my decision, I would still go and meet her or go pick her up from my parents' house and take her for little outings and things. So I still got to spend time with her. She was staying here for 4 or 5 months, and it was time for her to go back, and everybody was working. My parents or anybody didn't have enough time to take time off of work and actually take her back. Although it wasn't in my plan, I said, okay, I'll take some time off work and take her back. Kid you not, I literally only had a week off. And people will think I'm crazy that I went to Nepal and came back in a week, but I did that because it takes 2 days one way to travel. So I only had 3 or 4 full days in Nepal. But I knew in this whole situation, although we were maybe not talking, things like that, in my heart, I knew that whenever my family needs me, I'll do whatever I can to help them out. Anyway, so that was my first time going back to Nepal after being with Dennis. And let me tell you, it was a completely different experience. To be honest, my actual feelings were, I'm kind of lost. Lost in a sense, not that I didn't know the roads or I didn't know how to get from point A to point B. It was different. My reasons for going back to Nepal previously were very different than my reason at that time. And a lot of friendships, relationships had collapsed. So the people I used to hang out with in Nepal or do things with, they weren't there anymore. The relationship weren't there. A few of my friends really stood out for me. Again, my best friend Anushmiti and Kajol, although they were super busy, they made sure that I didn't feel that way. They would call me every single day. Hey, what's your plan today? Do you need any help? Do you need me to take you anywhere? But majority of the part, I kind of felt lost. I want to go back home. Whereas Nepal will always be my home. I felt I belonged here more because Dennis was here, and I kind of had that sense of belonging and family and support and things like that. But yeah, it was very weird. Other than taking my grandmother's there, I've been friends or in some way related with these people for years and years and years. And I wanted to pay my respect because those relationships ended while we were distant. So I wanted to meet them in person and let them know that I do not have any hard feelings. It's just we had to make decisions and we had to move on with our lives. And that's what everyone chose to do. But because we've had such a beautiful relationship for so many years, I wanted to make peace with that had happened and peacefully move on with my life, knowing that I did my part. So that was another big thing. And Dennis, he was such a sport. He told me, I know there's a lot of things that you want to do while you're back home with regards to these relationships, do that you have to do. But yeah, I did what I wanted to do and what I had to do, what I thought was the right thing to do, and that helped me move on peacefully in life.
We were wedding planning before you left.
Yes.
Talking about venues, making a list of all the people that were going to be there, which was close to 300. We decided to stop because it was getting too much. With all her friends in Dubai, Nepal, Pakistan, here, and all my family in Ghana, here, Canada, friends, my kids, my girls. It was a lot. It was a lot.
After we got engaged, we had started talking about wedding, and as a girl, it's a dream. I've always fantasized about my wedding. It's going to be this, it's going to be that, this is who I want to invite, this is how I want to dress up, and not having probably the most important person in my life to share that with was heart-wrenching. I want to add something with regards to the wedding plan. So Dennis has no idea what Nepali weddings are, right? Other than what he's seen in Bollywood movies, which is somewhat similar, but again, a lot different in many ways. So, okay, let's watch movies that has weddings. So we started watching a lot of movies that incorporated weddings and rituals. And how was that for you?
It was a lot. I don't know how you guys spent a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, different ceremonies back and forth. It was a bit overwhelming. Yes, we have 2 special days. The Ghanaian culture, we have the knocking, which I talked about already, which is sort of the engagement. We have the wedding. Outside of those 2, there are different parties that happen, but they are just, if you want, here and there. Given that the engagement was pretty much 1-day event, and all the Nepali ceremonies, the mehendi, the sangeet,
the actual wedding ceremony,
Yeah.
a lot of people do pre-wedding reception for just the bride's side. There's another big reception from the groom's side after the wedding. We're people that love celebration, so anything about celebration will include. So Dennis asked, so what do you do in mehendi? And I said, well, everybody gets together, we put henna in our hands, and we eat and we dance and we drink. Okay, so what do you do in sangeet? So it's like sangeet is more choreographed dances. People are wearing beautiful outfits, and we eat, we dance, we sing, and we drink. So it was we eat, we drink, we dance, we celebrate, we wear beautiful outfits. So it's more about celebration. Yes, in between those events, there are certain rituals, especially on the main wedding day. There's a lot of rituals that we do that has meanings, but the overall picture was we eat, we drink, we dance, we celebrate. I understand. So if you eat, you drink, you dance, you celebrate, why can't it be done all done in one day?
Yeah.
And I was like, doesn't work that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were kind of drawing more towards limiting the number of days involved.
Yes.
And we had kind of tentatively settled on the mehendi, the traditional marriage, the sangeet. So we
Yeah.
would find a way to blend the mehendi with the Ghanaian engagement.
Yeah.
We would find a way to have the Nepali wedding separately and have the white wedding and reception blended with the sangeet.
Yeah.
So we were
like
finding
3
a
days.
way to squeeze all these days into 3 days
Yeah.
worth of events.
But mind you, this was all before COVID. Yeah.
And it was hard doing all these things and not being able to involve family as much as you would have liked.
Yeah, it was sad because I remember we were making lists and Dennis gives one name and I give one name. I was giving names of every single person I knew that I wanted to invite, but in my head there was a question mark next to them because I didn't know whether they would be able to come or they would want to come. So these were just a list of names that in my heart I knew I wanted them involved in my big day.
Yeah.
So in that way it was sad, but we were enjoying the process.
We still have that list. So
Yeah.
Chandra, one of my chosen sisters, gave us that planner for our engagement gift. And it really came in handy because it helped us sketchboard
Yes.
that we had in mind.
Yes, that's true.
So we decided, all right, that's too much. Let's take a break. We'll see where that goes. Whilst that was all going on, you went to Nepal and I went ahead and found a house. I called you and said, hey, I'm buying a house.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about buying a house,
Yeah.
but things weren't happening. Then he calls me while I'm in Nepal and he's, I know you're there. I found a house and this is the house that we're
Yeah.
living in right now. He was here when he called me and he just gave me a little quick video tour and he said, I'm gonna put an offer. I can't really wait for you to come back. So I said, if you think that's the house for us, go ahead.
Yeah, so the house came on the market that same day. I put in the offer that same day. Later that night, they had confirmed the offer. So we started closing procedures on the house. And was it the day after you came back or the day before you came back, the lockdown began?
Day after?
Okay.
Day after.
So right when she got back,
Yeah.
shut down thanks to COVID. And that was also scary for everyone. It was for us because then I had to think, well, I just put in an offer on the house. what's that gonna look? Are we gonna get it, or are we gonna have to stay in our old apartment where I refused to renew our lease because whatever happened, I'm buying a house and we're moving, and my landlord kept putting pressure. You have to renew. That was also an experience.
Yeah.
So we were planning the wedding without family. We bought the house without family. We moved in,
Yeah, even the part about us buying the house is very interesting because Dennis mentioned we had put in the offer but not finalized, and things got very delayed because of COVID. Dennis said he did not want to stay in that apartment, so he knew that we didn't want to renew our lease. And our landlord was pushing. It was, you guys are no way gonna get that house if it's been this long. But we're very determined. Manifestation, whatever you want to call. A week before we had to leave the apartment, we got the house.
Yep, we had to spend that week pretty much here.
You did.
Yeah. From
you would come in
like
crack of the dawn
to about 12 p.m. Just tearing things down, ripping things up, repainting, and putting in a lot of work to make it feel more home for us.
Yep.
And again, that was also one thing we couldn't share with family, even though we would have really wanted to share that experience with them as well.
Because it was a big deal for us. I don't think, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree that it is a big deal to come to America from different countries and do your bit and have a foundation here for yourself to buy a house was a very big deal for us. And again, another big milestone in our life, in our relationship, and not having people, our loved ones around us to share the news is definitely difficult. But as a couple, we were enjoying this process. Dennis did 99% of the work. I was still working. Although it was COVID, my office at that time, I had to go in.
Too.
I know, I'm giving you the credit. I mean, I had to go into the office, so I couldn't help as much. I would just come here in the mornings and in the evenings after work. But Dennis was here. He was working simultaneously, painting, and it took almost a month to be ready. And yeah.
After we moved, we had sleepovers with my nieces and my nephews. But I know part of you wanted to have your siblings over as well, but you were in an awkward situation. How was that feeling, not having to be able to reach out to them anytime you liked and share some of these experiences with them?
It was difficult, very difficult. And again, coming back to the same thing, it was scary for me thinking that what if they feel they don't even have a sister? And I'm a firm believer that you don't just form a relationship knowing that you're related to that person. You need to work towards it, have some bonding to enhance that relationship. Yes, in their head they would know that we have a sister named Alicia, but what if we don't have that siblings bond with that relationship? And that was one thing I was very, very scared of. Luckily, I have to give credit to my siblings. Even at that age, they were so mature about the situation. Any chance I would get to meet them, they met me with equal excitement and always made me feel they loved me.
And we had some friends over as well, and we visited some friends. We took the road trip to
Rhode Island,
with Pat. We took a road trip to go visit Drew and Nirajan with Acacia as well, and they would come over and visit us. So that was also a way of bridging that COVID gap. And we had Booby and Manish,
Sitoshna and Kiran,
who just got married last month. Congratulations, guys. So those experiences still made me feel part of her tribe, because not everyone that she was involved with, she was friends with, she was family with, had completely shunned us. And it gave me a little more insight into the Nepali culture and what you guys love to do when you get together.
Which is what?
As you said, we eat, we drink, we celebrate. That's all. That was the main part.
Even though it wasn't a wedding?
Yeah.
Whatever chance you guys get, you eat, you drink, you celebrate.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And those little events here and there helped keep you afloat, helped keep you stable, knowing that you still had a community, even though it wasn't completely whole, you still had a community around you that backed you and were in your corner.
Yeah, I felt very good that Dennis got to meet some of my friends, and I'm different with different people, but the kind of equation you share with certain people, a different side of your personality comes out. So I was happy that Dennis was getting to see different sides of me with my friends in different occasions and things like that too. And that is very important in a relationship, because as a couple, there's certain way what you are with each other, and it's important for your partner to see you in different light with your friends, with your family. It brings out different sides of you, and when you're building a life together, that's important.
I also remember there were many instances where you would want to celebrate different cultural events that I didn't want any part to play in those events, because in a way I felt we weren't accepted by this culture. So why should I put in the effort of learning about the culture or learning about new things that were involved? There's a party every week. There's an event every week, and usually she doesn't even remember them until she sees images on the internet. She's like, today is this, we should do this. I'm like, no, if you want to do something, you put it on the calendar weeks before. I even consider thinking about doing it. So during those times, she felt doubly rejected by me, rejected by loved ones at the same time.
I don't know what to say about that. There's a million different holidays in Nepal, and it's hard to keep up with. So honestly, I wouldn't even know. How am I supposed to, when I'm following the world calendar, it's hard to keep up with when is Asar Pandra, which is the day you eat yogurt and beaten rice. It's like a little holiday. So little things that it's hard to keep up with when you're here and you're not with your family. When I'm with my family, my mom or my grandmother constantly reminds us, today's this or tomorrow is that, or next week is this, but I wasn't in that situation. I'll be honest, yes, I felt bad that Dennis didn't want it to be part of these celebrations with me, but at the same time, I also understood where he was coming from.
No, you didn't.
I did.